They will tell you success is luck. They will tell you it belongs to the chosen few. They will whisper that the world is unfair, that some are born with it and others are not. But those who have studied the truth, those who have walked through fire, who have failed and risen, who have carved their names into history with blood and persistence, they will tell you something different. They will tell you success is no accident. They will tell you success is a law, as real and precise as the law of gravity. And they will tell you that law begins inside your mind. Look around you. Every invention, every empire, every fortune that reshaped humanity began not with money, not with power, not with influence, but with an idea in someone's mind. A single spark of thought held with unshakable belief, acted upon with relentless discipline, transformed into reality. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before the light bulb illuminated the world. Henry Ford was laughed at when he spoke of cars for the common man. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won before becoming one of the greatest leaders history has ever seen. They were not born unstoppable. They became unstoppable. And the secret is this: the mind is the workshop of destiny. What you plant in it grows. What you discipline in it controls your fate. And what you master in it creates your destiny. The reason most people never taste unstoppable success is not because the world conspired against them, but because their own minds did. They surrendered to fear. They doubted before they acted. They quit before the harvest came. But those who rise, those who carve their destiny, learn the first rule of unstoppable success. Control your mind, or it will control you. Your thoughts are not idle. They are builders, architects of your future. Hold a thought long enough, feed it daily with belief, reinforce it with discipline, and it begins to transform into action. Action repeated becomes habit. Habit creates character, and character builds destiny. Napoleon Hill once wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." These words are not poetry. They are a formula. Conceive, believe, achieve. That is the order. Conceive the vision, believe in it with such intensity that the world cannot shake you, and then act until it is born. But here lies the trap: most never make it past the first step. They conceive an idea, but they do not guard it. They allow doubt, fear, and the whispers of the world to choke it before it takes root. They allow laziness to strangle it before it grows strong. Success does not bow to hesitation. It bows to conviction. It bows to discipline. And this is the secret. If you can command your mind, if you can discipline your thoughts as a general disciplines his army, you become unstoppable. Because no force on earth can defeat a mind that refuses to quit. Imagine waking every morning with a clear vision. Imagine training your mind to focus not on excuses, but on execution. Imagine building habits so unbreakable that failure bends beneath your persistence. Imagine controlling your emotions so deeply that rejection fuels you, criticism sharpens you, and obstacles train you. That is the mind of unstoppable success. History does not remember the comfortable. It remembers the relentless. It remembers the men and women who refused to surrender to circumstance. It remembers those who turned adversity into fuel. Edison did not light the world because he feared failure. He lit the world because he welcomed it. Each failure was not the end. It was a step. Each mistake was not proof of weakness, but proof of progress. That is the shift. The unstoppable do not fear failure. They forge it into a weapon. Think of steel. It is not born strong. It is placed in fire, beaten, folded, tested, until it becomes unbreakable. So it is with the human mind. Without struggle, without rejection, without discipline, the mind stays soft, fragile, weak. But with adversity, with focus, with persistence, it hardens into something the world cannot bend. And so, the secret to unstoppable success is not avoiding the fire, it is walking through it. It is understanding that your mind is forged in challenge and that the life you desire is hidden on the other side of discomfort. Do you want to know why most people fail? It is not because they lack talent. It is not because they lack opportunity. It is because they lack the courage to stay in the fire long enough for their greatness to be revealed. They quit at the first burn. They retreat at the first rejection. They surrender at the first wall. And then they call the world unfair. But the truth is, the world rewards those who refuse to stop knocking until the door opens. Carnegie said it best. Anything in life worth having is worth working for. And working for means sacrifice. Working for means persistence. Working for means The greatest prison humanity has ever built is not made of stone or steel. It is made of doubt. It is the invisible cell that billions walk inside daily. They wake up, chain their own minds with hesitation, and live their lives confined by ceilings that were never truly there. But the unstoppable, they break that prison, not with luck, not with chance, with decision. A decision to believe when others ridicule, a decision to persist when others retreat, a decision to trust the vision in their mind more than the noise of the world outside. This is why clarity is everything. Without clarity of purpose, the mind drifts like a ship without a compass, swayed by every wave, redirected by every storm. But with clarity, the storms are powerless. The waves are irrelevant, because the ship knows its destination. Think of Lincoln. He faced defeat after defeat. He faced poverty, heartbreak, illness, and political humiliation. But his compass was unwavering: to serve, to lead, to preserve the Union. His clarity outlasted his circumstances, and in the end, history bent to his will. This is the second truth of unstoppable success. When your why is strong enough, no how can break you. Clarity of purpose ignites belief. Belief ignites discipline. Discipline ignites action. And action, multiplied daily, builds momentum so great that nothing can contain it. You see, most people live by moods. If they feel inspired, they act. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel scared, they retreat. But those who are unstoppable do not serve their moods. They serve their mission. They rise not because they feel like it, but because destiny demands it. Understand this. Inspiration will visit you, but discipline must live with you. Inspiration is the spark. Discipline is the fire. And fire, once fed daily, becomes an inferno that clears every obstacle in its path. The question then becomes, how do you build this discipline? How do you master the mind that wants comfort when destiny demands discomfort? You build it the same way you build muscle. Through resistance, through repetition, through persistence. No man ever became strong by lifting nothing. No mind ever became disciplined by avoiding struggle. Every day that you choose the harder road, you are training your mind to obey you instead of you obeying it. Every day you choose focus over distraction, action over delay, courage over fear. You're laying bricks in the fortress of an unstoppable destiny. Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, You are right. These are not empty words. They are instructions. If you command your thoughts to align with your vision, your entire being obeys. If you allow your thoughts to wander in weakness, your entire being collapses. The unstoppable do not allow their minds to wander like children in a crowd. They harness their minds like a warrior harnesses a sword. Precision, power, purpose. Think of Carnegie, born poor, working in factories as a child. By all accounts, the world had given him nothing, but his mind was his empire. He fed it with vision, he commanded it with discipline, and brick by brick, he built a fortune so great it rewrote history. His wealth was not born in steel, it was born in his mind, and so is yours. But here is where many stumble. They think success is only about action. Work harder, work longer, work more. But if the mind is not aligned, action becomes chaos. Effort without vision is wasted. Motion without clarity is confusion. The unstoppable understand balance. They align thought, belief, and action like gears in a machine. Thought conceives, belief fuels, action executes. When all three align, destiny moves. And let me tell you this. Gratitude is the oil that keeps those gears turning. Without gratitude, the heart grows bitter, the mind grows restless, the vision grows dark. But with gratitude, the unstoppable see opportunity where others see obstacles. They see lessons where others see losses. They see fuel where others see fire. Gratitude is not weakness. Gratitude is strength because it transforms every circumstance into progress. Even in failure, gratitude whispers, I am learning. I am growing. I am closer than I was yesterday. This is why the unstoppable never truly lose. They either win or they learn. And learning is the currency of resilience. Look at Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination, bankrupt, rejected, ridiculed. Yet he never surrendered. Each setback was not the end. It was the soil in which the seed of his empire grew. Without the rejection, there would be no empire. Without the failure, there would be no magic. The unstoppable see what others cannot. They understand that obstacles are not walls. They are doors. They are not punishments. They are preparation. They are not curses. They are catalysts. And once you master this perspective, you become immune to defeat. Not because you will never fall, but because no fall can keep you deep. Decision is the birthplace of destiny, but decision without action is nothing more than a whisper lost to the wind. Once the mind decides, the body must obey. Once the heart commits, the feet must march. For life does not reward intentions. It rewards execution. The greatest ideas in the world lie buried in graves, unexpressed, unpursued, unrealized. They belong to men and women who dreamed but never dared, who decided but never acted, who wished but never willed. Do not let that be your story. Let your story be one of execution. Let the world see in your footsteps the evidence of your decision. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Thousands. If decision was all he had, he would have stopped at failure one. But his decision was fused with action, and his action was fueled by faith. He did not just think success. He did not just believe success. He worked success into reality. This is the rhythm of the unstoppable. Decide, act, persist, adapt, repeat. And in this rhythm lies another truth. Success does not come at once. It comes in layers, in inches, in compound growth invisible to the naked eye. You may not see the tree growing, but its roots are deepening every day. You may not see your life transforming, but every disciplined choice, Every courageous action, every grateful thought is watering the seed of your destiny. The weak grow impatient and abandon the seed before it bears fruit. The unstoppable water it daily, even when the soil looks barren, even when the sky is silent, because they know the harvest will come. Patience is the silent partner of success. Without it, the unstoppable would crumble in despair. With it, they endure, and by enduring, they triumph. Think of the bamboo tree. For years it shows nothing above the ground. Nothing. Yet beneath the surface its roots are expanding, weaving, strengthening. Then one day, after years of invisibility, it shoots up and grows more than 80 feet in weeks. That is the power of patience. That is the nature of success. Your progress may not always be visible, but it is real. Your actions may not yet be rewarded, but they are accumulating. Your destiny may not yet be revealed, but it is forming. And here lies another truth: adaptability. Because while patience is required, flexibility is essential. The world is in constant motion. Obstacles will appear. Plans will fail. The road you envisioned may crumble. But the unstoppable do not resist change. They bend with it. They are like water, flowing, reshaping, yet always moving toward the ocean. Consider Henry Ford. His first two automobile companies collapsed. Investors abandoned him. Critics mocked him. Yet he adapted, reimagined, rebuilt, and pressed forward until he revolutionized transportation forever. He was not married to one path. He was married to the vision. The road could twist, the road could break, but the destination was non-negotiable. And this is the key. Be firm in your vision, but flexible in your approach. Do not cling to one method, cling to the mission. If one plan fails, create another. If one door shuts, build a new one. If the world tells you no, invent a way to make it yes. The unstoppable do not ask if it can be done, they ask how it can be done. That single shift in language separates the dreamers from the doers, the hesitant from the heroes. Adaptability also requires humility. The humility to admit you don't know everything. The humility to learn, to listen, to evolve. The greatest leaders in history were never the ones who knew it all. They were the ones who refused to stop learning. Abraham Lincoln filled his cabinet with men who opposed him, who criticized him, who challenged him. Why? Because he knew iron sharpens iron. Growth requires friction. To surround yourself only with those who agree is to weaken your mind. To welcome challenge, to embrace learning, to pursue wisdom. That is the mindset of the unstoppable. Learning is the fuel of progress, and knowledge, when applied, becomes power. But understand this: knowledge alone does not create success. It is knowledge applied, knowledge tested, knowledge lived that transforms destiny. Andrew Carnegie did not just learn about steel. He applied what he learned, innovated, and built an empire. Walt Disney did not just study imagination, he embodied it, tested it, and brought it to life. Knowledge without action is potential energy. Knowledge with action is unstoppable force. And yet, even knowledge and action are not enough without one more principle: persistence. The world will test you. It will push against you. It will whisper that your dream is too big, too risky, too unrealistic. It will give you 1,000 reasons to surrender. But persistence is the weapon that silences doubt. Persistence is the shield that blocks failure. Persistence is the hammer that breaks down walls. Most people quit, not because they lack talent, but because they lack persistence. They give up inches from gold, walking away when destiny was one step further. Napoleon Hill wrote of a miner who dug tirelessly, only to abandon his mine after years of struggle. The man who bought the land after him struck gold just 3 feet deeper. 3 feet. That is how close many come. They surrender before their breakthrough, abandon the vision just before victory. But the unstoppable persist. They dig when tired. They dig when hopeless. They dig when mocked. They dig until the gold is theirs. Because they understand. Success does not surrender to the faint of heart. It yields only to those who refuse to quit. And here, in persistence, lies the greatest truth of all. Success is not about talent, not about intelligence, not even about opportunity. It is about endurance. Who can stay the longest? Who can bear the weight of resistance? Who can rise again and again and again until the world itself grows weary of trying to stop them? That is the unstoppable. That is the secret to success that does not fade, that does not break, that cannot be denied. But persistence alone is not enough without discipline. For persistence without order is chaos. Success demands structure. It demands control over your time, your habits, and your priorities. Without discipline, dreams dissolve into distractions. Without discipline, your energy scatters into 1,000 directions, and nothing great is ever built. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. It is the daily decision to do what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. The unstoppable rise before dawn, if needed. They work while others sleep. They sacrifice comfort for greatness, because they know that every empire, every masterpiece, every triumph is nothing more than the accumulation of disciplined choices repeated over time. Think of Benjamin Franklin. Before he became a statesman, before he became a legend, he was a man of meticulous routine. He mapped his days with precision. He disciplined his mind and body until they obeyed his will. His success was not an accident. It was the product of relentless discipline. Discipline is the training of the self against the self. For your greatest enemy will never be the world outside. It will be the weakness within. Laziness, procrastination, fear, excuses. These are the chains you must break. And discipline is the hammer that shatters them. Every time you rise when you want to rest, you strengthen your will. Every time you keep your word when no one is watching, you sharpen your character. Every time you finish what you start, you engrave victory into your soul. This is why discipline is freedom. Because the undisciplined are slaves. Slaves to mood, slaves to impulse, slaves to weakness. The disciplined are free. Free to choose, free to create, free to rise above mediocrity. But even discipline must be fueled by something greater. Purpose. Without purpose, discipline is drudgery. With purpose, discipline becomes devotion. Purpose is the fire that sustains when the road is long. Purpose is the compass that guides when the path is unclear. Purpose is the reason why, the force behind the how. Without purpose, success becomes hollow, wealth becomes empty, power becomes meaningless. With purpose, even the smallest act is charged with significance. Martin Luther King Jr. did not march for applause. Gandhi did not fast for recognition. Mother Teresa did not serve for wealth. They lived for purpose. A purpose greater than themselves. A purpose that burned so deeply they could not be stopped. That is why they became unstoppable. Ask yourself, what is your purpose? What is worth your suffering? What is worth your sacrifice? What is the vision that makes every hardship bearable, every failure forgivable, every effort meaningful? Until you find that purpose, you will drift. But once you discover it, you will ignite, because purpose transforms the ordinary into extraordinary. It gives weight to your days, direction to your choices, and immortality to your actions. And with purpose comes clarity. For most people wander not because the road is hidden, but because their vision is blurred. They chase too many desires. They pursue too many directions. They dilute their energy into nothingness, the unstoppable focus. They decide what matters most, and they cut away the rest. They know that clarity is not just about knowing what to pursue. It is about knowing what to ignore. Clarity demands sacrifice. It means saying no to distractions, no to temptations, no to the paths that do not serve the mission. It is the art of narrowing your life until only the essential remains. Think of Steve Jobs. When he returned to Apple, the company was drowning in dozens of mediocre products. He cut nearly all of them and focused on a few. That clarity birthed the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, innovations that reshaped the world. Clarity is power. A laser can cut through steel because its energy is concentrated. A sunbeam warms the skin, but a magnified sunbeam ignites fire. The unstoppable do not scatter like the sun. They focus like the laser. But even clarity and purpose will falter without belief, because belief is the soil in which everything grows. If you do not believe you can, you never will. If you believe you cannot, your mind will prove you right. Belief is not blind optimism. It is a decision to trust your power, your potential, your destiny. It is the refusal to accept limitations, the rebellion against doubt, the insistence that you are capable of more. When the Wright brothers announced they would fly, the world laughed. When Edison declared he would bring light to every home, the world mocked. When Disney spoke of a land of magic, the world dismissed him. But they believed, and their belief became reality. Belief is contagious. When you carry it, the world feels it. When you walk with certainty, others follow. When you refuse to bow to doubt, the universe itself bends to your will. But belief must be guarded, because the world will try to poison it with fear. People will project their own insecurities onto you. They will tell you it cannot be done, not because it's impossible, but because they themselves never dared. Protect your belief like a flame in the storm. Shield it from the winds of criticism, the rains of failure, the shadows of doubt. Feed it daily with affirmations, with victories, with reminders of your power. Because belief does not just shape your destiny, it shapes your identity. You do not rise above the level of your belief. If you believe you are average, you will live average. If you believe you are great, you will pursue greatness. If you believe you are unstoppable, nothing can stop you. And so the unstoppable weave together these threads: belief, clarity, purpose, discipline, persistence, adaptability, learning, gratitude. Each one alone is powerful. Together they form the armor of destiny. Together they transform a mortal into a force the world cannot deny. But even with all these virtues, persistence, discipline, purpose, clarity, belief, there is one last ingredient that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary: courage. Because success is not a path of comfort. It is a battlefield, and every battle demands bravery. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is mastery over fear. It is standing tall when your knees want to buckle, speaking truth when silence would be safer, moving forward when retreat feels easier. Look at Abraham Lincoln. He failed in business. He lost elections. He buried children. He endured ridicule and heartbreak. Yet he found the courage to rise again and again until he carried a nation through its darkest hour. That is courage. That is unstoppable. Courage is the voice that whispers, try again. Courage is the hand that pushes you forward when doubt drags you back. Courage is the fire that refuses to die, even when the storm rages strongest. And when courage meets persistence, miracles happen. Edison's light bulb was not born of ease. It was born of 10,000 failures, met each time with the courage to try again. The Wright brothers' airplane was not a product of certainty. It was the result of daring to leap into the sky when every voice told them they would fall. The unstoppable understand this. Fear is natural, but surrender is a choice. They feel the fear and move anyway. They feel the doubt and act anyway. They feel the pain and endure anyway. And in that act of defiance, they conquer fear itself. But courage also demands faith, not blind faith, but faith in the unseen laws of the universe. Faith that effort will bear fruit. Faith that patience will be rewarded. Faith that what you sow today, you will reap tomorrow. Napoleon Hill once wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." These are not empty words. They are the blueprint of destiny, because faith transforms the invisible into the visible, the imagined into the real. Henry Ford had faith when he envisioned a car for every family. Carnegie had faith when he saw steel cities rising from dirt. Oprah had faith when she rose from poverty to become a voice for millions. Faith is the seed from which empires grow. But faith, like belief, must be fed. It must be anchored in gratitude. Because gratitude is the soil that keeps the heart humble, the mind clear, and the spirit resilient. Without gratitude, success corrupts. Wealth turns into arrogance. Power rots into tyranny. Ambition collapses into emptiness. With gratitude, every victory becomes sweeter, every struggle more meaningful, every day more abundant. Gratitude turns obstacles into teachers. It transforms losses into lessons. It reframes failure as preparation. The unstoppable wake each morning not asking, "What am I owed?" but declaring, "I am grateful for another chance to rise." Gratitude is not weakness. It is strength. Because nothing can break the one who finds meaning in everything. Nothing can defeat the one who sees a gift, even in pain. Nothing can stop the one who walks in gratitude, for their soul is already victorious. And so, with gratitude in the heart, courage in the soul, belief in the mind, discipline in the body, persistence in the will, purpose in the spirit, and clarity in the vision, the unstoppable rise. They do not wait for permission. They do not bow to circumstance. They do not ask if the path will be easy. They carve the path themselves. The world will doubt them until it cannot ignore them. The world will resist them until it must obey them. The world will forget their critics, but it will never forget their names. Because the unstoppable are not remembered for avoiding failure. They are remembered for transcending it. They are remembered for building when others quit, for believing when others mocked, for enduring when others surrendered. And one day, the world will look at them and say, "It was inevitable, but it was not inevitable. It was chosen. Chosen through every disciplined morning, every persistent step, every courageous leap, every grateful breath." This is the secret to unstoppable success. It is not luck, not chance, not accident. It is the deliberate construction of a destiny, brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action. So ask yourself now, are you ready? Are you ready to abandon the excuses that have chained you? Are you ready to silence the doubts that have haunted you? Are you ready to rise? Not someday, but today? Because your mind is the master key. Your belief is the foundation. Your purpose is the map. Your discipline is the engine. Your persistence is the fuel. Your courage is the fire. And your gratitude is the crown. Control your thoughts, and you control your actions. Control your actions, and you control your habits. Control your habits, and you control your destiny. Success is not waiting for you. Success is waiting on you. It waits for your decision, your commitment, your leap of faith. It waits for the day you finally say, enough. I will rise. I will not stop. I will not break. I will not bow. That day can be today. That day can be this moment. That day can be the beginning of your unstoppable life. So stand tall. Take the first step. Ignite the fire within. And remember this truth. The secret to unstoppable success is not hidden in the stars, not locked in fate, not reserved for the chosen few. It is already within you. Unleash it, live it, and become unstoppable.